YouTube! So today we're going to take a look at the Hottoys, Shoretrooper, Grunt and Squad Leader. So sit back, relax and let's get posing. So I went a bit overboard, as you can see. So I got 2 squad leaders and 3 grunts. So I was posing them up and I thought I need to find some sort of a language for this squad. Especially since the commander unfortunately doesn't come with a lot of hand options. So I decided that this closed fist with the hand up would be the signal for the troopers to get the guns out, and that this open hand would be the signal for the squad to get their guns in hand. And I think in this pose it was okay that I had 2 squad leaders and 3 grunts. As long as you put the squad leaders in front, I think it'll be fine. So as opposed to this pose, in the next poses I will try to make sure to have every trooper in a bit of a different pose, just to mix things up. So for the next pose I wanted the squad to run, and as you can see I used this fist as if it was a pointing hand. Like I said, it's really unfortunate that we only got few hand options, but we'll just have to make do. As you can see, the next one is also a running pose of the Trooper Grunt. I have the right foot on the floor and it's a bit of an angle. This one has the left foot on the floor and the angle is changed up yet again. And as you can see, the third running pose will also be a bit different than the previous ones. I always try to switch it up a bit just to keep it interesting, especially with same looking troopers in the same group, because you always run the risk of it becoming a boring composition. So here, as you can see, we have the squad running together with the last one in a bit of a jumping pose, just because I needed the space and I didn't know how I could position him properly. So the commander is still using his closed fist as sort of a command to the rest of the group, and the rest of the group is charging forward. So for the next pose I was going for a standing pose with the squad firing, and of course the commander giving the command for the squad to fire. So the first trooper is aiming upwards. When you try to do a shooting position, always make sure that your line of sight and the position where the eye is supposed to be are lining up. Fortunately, with helmeted troopers you always have a bit of a leeway because the eyes are somewhere behind the visor. But still, it does take some work to get the visor and line of sight lined up properly. And this trooper is aiming straight forward. Once again, you need to tilt the helmet pretty aggressively to create the illusion of the trooper looking down the scope. Okay, so this pose, the trooper is also aiming straight in front of him, but if you straighten the front leg, you can also use this pose to aim up way higher. But in this instance, as you can see, I bent the knee a little bit, so he's kind of leaning forward to shoot. So here I post the squad up all together, and this is sort of a scene like they're being attacked from all sides and angles. I think you'll be able to fit this inside of a D12, and that would look great if you have a clear view from all of the angles of the D12. So these are actually the same exact poses like before in the circle, but having them aim forward a bit more. To make the composition a bit more interesting, I decided to add some levels. So I added this trooper kneeling. It's the same upper body, but just a kneeling pose. Make sure you mind the belt, because the belt is the most fragile part of these troopers. The pants will be fine. And to add the lower level, I decided to insert a sniper-like position with one of the Grunt troopers lying flat on his belly and adjusting his scope. So this is how the group turned out with adding some levels. And I think most displays don't have all viewing angles clear, so using this kind of a setup makes sure that you can view all troopers and make the view interesting and not having to look at their backs. So after a running pose and a standing pose, I wanted to do a walking pose. You might not see it, but every trooper has at least 1 foot not flat on the surface. It was a real balancing act, but I hope it paid off. After this pose though, I noticed that I needed some more inspiration. And then I got more interested in the human side of these troopers. So I went to Google and I was looking for some more camaraderie pics from the army. And these pics actually got me inspired to do a completely other type of posing with these troopers. So I didn't need the 5 troopers anymore. I just wanted to pose the troopers needing some help and just photograph them on the journey of being on a mission. I don't know about you guys, but when you see these troopers literally needing help from each other, I think it adds a whole other level to posing these figures. For instance, the most interesting part about this pose is the kneeling trooper, looking at what his buddy is doing and communicating. So after that, I took the communicating part a bit further, and I had 2 troopers communicating during either battle or training. Okay, and this one was literally copied from 2 army guys, one helping the other one with his backpack. I think it turned out great. And in this pose, the squad leader is taking his job very seriously, as you can see. I was trying to go for the squad leader explaining something to the grunt, but over here it looks like he's being scolded for something, which is actually pretty funny. Okay, so if you're in the groups, you might have already seen this pose already. This was one of the poses I was most satisfied with, if I can say so myself. This shows so many aspects that I wanted to portray with the troopers. It's the vulnerability, the human side of the commander carrying his grunt, and basically the struggle of trooper life, while usually they're just cannon fodder. So this next pose also shows a couple of aspects of what I was trying to show. It's the trooper being critically hurt, his buddy trying to take care of him, and the squad leader signaling for the medic to come. So I think when you take a bit of time to think about the story behind the poses, you can do great scenes with these troopers. Well, as you can see, I went a little overboard with the whole wounded trooper theme. But once I got going, it was really hard to stop, because they made really great shots. Over here once again, the middle trooper is wounded, and the squad leader is communicating with him while the other trooper is looking where to walk. And it seems like the left trooper knows exactly where they need to go. Okay, so same theme, different pose. I only used 2 troopers, and this time the grunt on the left is hurt. He's being carried by the squad leader on the right, and they are trying to shoot their way out of the enemy forces. Somehow this one was a bit hard to balance, but I hope it turned out okay. I'll let this pose ride out, but in the meantime, I hope you've enjoyed this video, and thank you for watching, and thank you so much for everyone in the community supporting me doing these videos. Please head out to the description below to see the links to other great posing content. So once again, thank you for watching. It would be great if you would join our Facebook group 6 Skill Posers to share your creativity and get inspired by other poses as well. And so please like, subscribe, and head down to the comments below if you have a suggestion or if you would like me to cover a certain figure. And as always, remember, don't pose beyond your comfort level, but keep posing, everyone.